Welcome to the Board Game Network. I'm going to be explaining the rules to this game called Apothecary, the Secret Potion Society, designed by Andrew Federspiel. It is a 1 to 4 player game, plays in about 30 minutes, 13 years and up. And your goal in this game is to satisfy 3 apothecaries. Now I'll explain how to do that. Here's your setup for the game. You got the board out here. You are going to put you're going to mix these tiles up. These are potion tiles. They have one of 3 different colors. There's blue, red, and yellow on each of these tiles. They have different shapes on the picture, and the gems themselves have different shapes to them. So if you're colorblind, you should find this game to be okay to play. So you're going to mix these tiles up. You're going to put 1 face up in each corner. And you're going to put 2 face down in the middle, diagonal to each other, and you're going to face them towards player 2. So whoever the second player is, those are going to get the arrows. You are going to deal 1 apothecary card face up to each player. You are going to build this little thing here that has where you put the apothecary cards in. This is called the market, and you put 1 face up in each of these, the blues, the reds, and the yellows, and then the rest of the deck is face down underneath the one that's got 1 of each color. You're going to put your gem supply above the corresponding color. And in a 3-player game, you're going to give this extra action token to, and what that does is anytime during the game that player can discard this and take an extra action, a different action from the other ones that he took, 1 time during the whole game. So also on the game, the first player only does 1 action on the first turn only. When you start the game, the first player gets 1 action, but from then on, every player gets 2 actions. And the 2 actions have to be different. You have a reference card here. It gives you your choices of the 4 actions you can take. It's got reveal, restock, power, and higher. It explains what the actions are on this card. Very simple. The reveal action is you flip over a face down potion in the market and gain a gem of the potion's color. So if I decide to flip that one over, and I can't look at it ahead of time unless the arrow's pointing towards me. So that's a red, so I would get a red gem. That's how that one works. The second option is restock. If you have less than 3 face down tiles out here on the board, you actually get to take from the stack. You can look at the tile and you place it face down wherever you want to and face the arrow towards yourself, because then you have the right to look at that from any time in the future. And you do that until there are 3 face down. So if you're starting with no face down tiles, you get to put 3 out. If you're starting with 2, you can only put 1 out. Once there's 3 down, you cannot take this action. So the next option is the power action, and the power action is using your apothecary's ability, whichever ones you have, use some kind of ability that's on that card. So you can have as many of these apothecaries as you want, but what they do is they change things. They might swap 2 tiles on the board, or there's one that tilts the board and everything shifts until it can't move anymore on the board. So all kinds of different varieties of abilities for these apothecaries. The board has to change state when you use the ability. So you cannot use an ability and then leave the board in the exact same state as it was before. And apothecaries count as different actions. So I said you have to use 2 different actions of these 4. When you're using the power one, if you're using 2 different apothecaries, that can be your 2 different actions. You can't use the same apothecary twice. And then your 4th option here is to hire. And the way you hire is you pay the corresponding cost up here to buy another Apothecary card. So this one costs 2 yellow, this one's 2 red, this one's 2 blue. This one is 1 of each. However, you don't get to see it when you buy it. You just buy it sight unseen and you put it in on the table. So let's say I paid 2 yellow. I would then have this one, and this one would flip up and then be available in that spot. And then I could use either of these Apothecaries at that point. My goal is to get 3 of the same color tiles in a row. That would mean horizontal or vertical, not diagonal. So let's just act like we're farther along in this game here. I might have, let's find me a yellow. Okay, let's say this one's a yellow face down or something. I could take one action if I have the Apothecary that lets me swap 2 like that, and then I could do the reveal and I would get 3 in a row. Or you could do the reveal first and then see that it's yellow and then do the swap, whatever. The order of these actions doesn't matter. I would then pull these 3 off and then I would cover one of my Apothecaries. I'm satisfying 1 Apothecary. Your goal is to satisfy 3. And so once you place this on there, you've satisfied that Apothecary. You cannot use that Apothecary's ability from then on. You can only use the ones that are face up. Now if you ever do a match of the colors out here and you do not have any Apothecaries, then it still gets discarded. It does not count towards your 3 satisfied Apothecaries, and you get a gem instead of satisfying an Apothecary of the color that you pick. Now when you satisfy the Apothecary, it doesn't matter what color the potion is that you're putting on the Apothecary. It does not matter. There are special shapes that you can complete. You'll see that listed in the book. You've got an I, which is 4 in a row instead of 3 in a row. You've got an L, which is 3 horizontal and vertical. You've got a T, which is 3 across and 3 down. You've got a plus or a cross, which is 3 across, 3 down in the middle. Okay, and if you get one of those shapes instead of the normal just 3 shape, you satisfy an Apothecary and you get a gem of the corresponding color. So you actually get another benefit for doing one of those shapes. So that's essentially the game. You're trying to be the first player to get to 3 satisfied Apothecaries. The first person to do that is the winner. There is, if you're playing this 4 players, you actually play as 2 teams, and you keep your gems separate. You keep your tiles, your Apothecaries separate. You can do your stuff, he can do his stuff. And the team that gets to 3 satisfied Apothecaries first is the winner. So you win as a team even though you're keeping your stuff separately. There is a solo variant in here. You're starting out, and at the start you have a checkerboard pattern of tiles laid out here, and you have a couple of rows on each side that have face down tiles that get swapped in. And when you make a set of 3 in a row, you actually stack them instead of taking them off the board. And you're trying to get the most number of points you can, and it's got a chart in the rule book for how well you did. Based on once the board gets full, then you cannot play anymore, the game's over. There is also a 2 to 4 player variant. I'm going to be explaining the rules for the variants in this video. I just wanted to go over the basic game and let you know there are those 2 variants. But this is a very simple game to play, and hope you tune in for all of our rules videos here on the Board Game Network, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.